about the long county council meeting tonight. It went on about 3 hours.
Yes, this is the county council meeting. It was first meeting in September, and it did go long tonight. It wasn't because we had a long agenda. We just had a lot of discussion within the agenda. But we started the night at 6 o'clock with something that's dear to my heart, and the county council was very excited to step up and honor these group of folks, and it is for the Anderson Pregnancy Care Center. And if you don't know what Audrey Shaw is doing down at the Anderson Pregnancy Care Center, you need to check it out. They have moved to a new location. They remodeled an older facility, and it is beautiful. They have expanded services to help women, no matter what your background is, no matter where you're from. They'll help women who find themselves in an unexpected pregnancy, anything for just alternative choices to helping them with diapers, helping them keep the baby and keep themselves healthy and keep the baby healthy. So that's a positive thing. That's Anderson's a pro-life community, and it embraces that mission, and Anderson County wanted to step up and support it. Well, from that we went into the regular meeting, and with the meeting we went into third, second, and first reading. All ordinances go through 3 readings, and so they're sort of stacked up. And tonight's agenda was primarily economic development. It started with some apartment housing in Pendleton. It's going to be 500 apartments, and what this does is, if you take the land currently, it was paying about $12,000 in taxes. Once this development goes on there, they'll be paying about $800,000 in taxes. And so now normally they'd be paying about $1.6 million in taxes. But since they came with a large investment and they could have gone a whole lot of other places, they got what we call, it's a fee in lieu of, but in essence a rebate. So that was highly debated tonight, because what we as council always want to know is, are we getting the best deal for the taxpayer? Would these people pay more taxes to come? Would these people potentially go to another county if we did not work a deal with them? So in every instance, the county council is trying to make the best deal for the taxpayers of Anderson County, because when we can pick up additional revenue from entities like that, then it spreads the tax base for everybody to have lower taxes over time. But at the same time, we don't want to give away the farm. We want to make sure that we are negotiating with our fiduciary duty on the best behalf of the county. So,
and Pendleton has had a real lack of housing for families and stuff. I mean, you know, just regular families that, you know, they both be working and all, looking for nice housing in Pendleton. Pendleton's just expanded their town limits for the first time in history. And they've got more, and with Arthrex and the other big companies around, the only real housing expansion in Pendleton in recent years has been like student housing for Clemson.
Yep. So
this is an important thing for the town of Pendleton, to have housing for people who want to live in Pendleton.
And this is an area that I stress to people all the time. If you live in the city of Anderson, or you live in Belton, or you live in Ivy, or you live in Pendleton, you still live in the county. All these entities exist in the county. So when Pendleton called us and said, we believe this is a good deal for our town, we want you to negotiate on our behalf and work with us, then we wanted to step up. Yeah, so Pendleton asked us to work with them on it. It was a good project. It had some dissent on council, had a lot of debate, but it ultimately moved forward. From there, we went into other joint county arrangements, which is, in my mind, a lot of paperwork that's corresponding with other counties for economic development projects. And then the hot topic of the night was the first reading of the road fee. And this has been discussed all around the county at different meetings, and initially it was thrown out as $25 a car. They talked about exemptions for people over 64. They talked about exemptions for potentially veterans or disabled. And everybody had a robust debate about that. Most people agree we have to find something to do with paving our roads. The state passed the sales tax, and they'll ultimately pave state roads, but that doesn't pave county roads. So we had to look at that procedure. And when discussing the road fee, we found that there was different opinions on how it should be implemented, but it all came back to people agreed that something needs to ultimately be done with the roads. Now, whether you're in favor of the tax or against the tax, most people understand at the end of the day we have to do something with the roads. So it passed tonight 5-2, so it wasn't unanimous, and it was in title only, which means it'll go on for further debate, and they'll actually add different levels of specifications to it. Yes, since I've been on council, this has probably been the most hotly debated item, and it's been the item that council members have taken the most time to engage the public. So with that, there hasn't been a lack of discussion, and there's going to continue to be more discussion as people hold meetings in their respective areas, and I expect council to actually probably have a joint meeting and allow more public comment on it. So this will be an item to follow moving forward, but there was robust debate tonight. There was a lot of citizen comment and a lot of discussion. From there, we went into some similar incentive agreements and resolutions that mirror some of the economic development projects we did before. We approved a bid that will improve the Chris Taylor Park at the Anderson Civic Center, and this was paid for with what we call A-tax money. That's money collected when people outside the county stay in hotels. So that's a positive thing for our county to upgrade a widely used park near the Civic Center. We also approved and voted on voter registration and elections, where we're going to be getting new voting machines to go to all the precincts throughout the county, and these are vetted by the state, Homeland Security, the federal government. One of the core things of government is you want to make sure that elections are fair and they're transparent and that the machines are doing exactly what we want to, and so periodically that requires an upgrade. From there, we accepted some roads into the county inventory based on meeting requirements and being finished in the inventory. And then we had a lengthy report from the public safety meeting where we talked about radio fees for correspondence between the different towns. We talked about inmate health services at the jail. We talked about medical control for EMS. And we talked about new franchise agreements. Yes, we talked about safety on the East-West Parkway. And one of my biggest concerns is at the Applebee's on Main Street to Ingalls on 81 to even the movie theater. We're going to be extending the parkway, and more people are going to be crossing these roads. More people are going to be running and walking. So whether you have chest pains or you might have a strange person following you or there's traffic, we want to make sure that you have the ability to call for help, maybe at a blue station or a red light station.
Like the ones they have at the track at the hospital?
Yeah, very similar to the blue light stations they have at the hospital. So that there'd be one readily accessible at reasonable intervals. From there, we made some appointments to some boards that help the county, and then we also made some allocations to some nonprofits that do some good work. So it was a long meeting, but as I referenced at the beginning, it was a pretty short agenda, but there was robust discussion from individuals who came to talk during public comment, and there was also robust discussion between the different council members, but it was all done in a way that I think brought forward the different topics and ideas that we needed to share. And public comment and discussion among council members is a good thing, and that's what we always encourage. We invite you to come out to any of the meetings that are coming forth. We invite you to come out to the next meeting. There's just the third Tuesday on September. It's always open to the public, and so with that, we move on to the next meeting. We'll be moving into the fall.